And I say that because the CIA did it in Italy to blame it on the communists, and they did it in Kosovo. It's one of their favorites. It's their fave, you could say, in their kind of asymmetrical, low-intensity combat to machine gun or blow up a bus, and then they'll go kill somebody and throw them out on the road or grab a patsy who's mentally ill and put them out. And when they machine gun a bus full of your kids and then say it's domestic Al-Qaeda, and you know, people that talk about freedom are now Al-Qaeda, as they're now saying, as they've said all over the news, people that think the government did 9/11, we're really terrorists with Al-Qaeda. You see, that's the Pentagon talking point. And it's completely, and folks, I'm not joking. You understand? I'm not joking about this. Paul, Steve, I want to hear what you have to say just about all of this.
Well, going back to the Chinese paramilitaries, you know today that they're in San Francisco, the same group, marching downtown San Francisco.
See, we need more articles. I saw that, and I'm so upset I forgot. That's right. Foreign Chinese secret police are in San Francisco. Alert. In fact, where is the procession? We've got to get video. I demand that Info Warriors go mobile and go out there and get us video and see if the San Francisco cops are under global control and see if they... Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I can tell you where the procession is. I've got it here in front of me. It's starting this afternoon at 1 p.m. Goes from McCovey Cove northbound to 3rd Street, and will eventually end up in the Justin Herman Plaza for a concluding ceremony. So any listeners that know that area, if they could get down there and get some footage of that, that'd be good.
This is the highest priority as we fight the terrorist forces. This just in, confirmed. We got it, and we're confirming it right now. Paul Harvey News Today reported international troops will protect the Olympic torch today in San Francisco. That was Harvey's report this morning. Let's try to pull it. John Googled that. Again, international troops, this is a quote, will protect the Olympic torch today. And we have mainstream news. Steve has it. Steve, give us your sources on the fact that international forces in the U.S., quote, protecting their occultic torch that Hitler modernized. He drew up the rings. Headline, Chinese paramilitary secret police to protect Nazi ceremony. You couldn't make it up. It's insane. ZX9 emergency. Red level emergency. Our country is being conditioned to foreign troops in mass conditioning exercises, just like they used the Super Bowl to condition you to get rid of posse comitatus, which they now announce they've gotten rid of. Steve, give us more info.
Well, I've just read it on a sort of local Fox page. It just says the Olympic torch makes its only U.S. appearance today with a ceremonial run through the streets of San Francisco. It will be protected by a squad of Chinese security officers known as flame attendants. The guards wear bright blue tracksuits. They've succeeded in keeping human rights protesters from grabbing the torch at other appearances.
Treason! 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 Ah! I'm sick of it!
Yeah, it was the same guys that were in London, but you know, the Australian Prime Minister himself came out today and banned China from deploying its own security during torch relay in Canberra.
Men, I want reports. I want total coverage on InfoWars. I want total coverage on Jones Report. I want total coverage on Prison Planet. This is all we're covering. Now, I've got the American drug war coming on, and this nexus is in to how they built their police state grid off of fighting the crises they created, controlling the narcotics being shipped in. But I'm not kidding, ladies and gentlemen. Large areas of the country, the entire Pacific coast area, and this is in my films, this is in the official newspaper articles from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Bernadine Smith put them together in huge binders. I've got one in storage. That's a huge binder that weighs like 15 pounds, twice the size of a Dallas phone book, just with mainstream news articles from all the major papers admitting it. It's in the State Department Plan 7277, and it says the entire West Coast, all the way from Idaho down to Arizona and Nevada, over to California, back up to the coast. That entire, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 state area is to be patrolled by Chinese troops. And notice where they came under international treaty agreements. It's the West Coast. Emergency, ladies and gentlemen. These bastards, these pieces of, oh my, I just can't. You know what? If we don't get mad about this, there's nothing that's going to make us mad. Watson, both of you, tell me what you think about this.
Well, I'm not surprised that the Labour Party let them in, whereas Australia's banning them, especially in London, because you know who runs London? He's known as Red Ken Livingstone, and it recently came out that he was, or his aides were a member of a secret Marxist cell that, quote, plotted to turn London into a socialist city-state. So this is the guy who's running London at the moment. So it's no surprise that the government let them in on, visitor visas when they're actually paramilitary police.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like a moment of silence for this country. Do you understand? I have videotaped personally troops training to take your children away from you and put you on your knees and blow your head off. It's in Police State 2000. Paul has links to it. They train to put you on your knees and stick a muzzle to the back of the American people's head. And they plan to use these evil communist murderers on us. I am sick of it. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I was in San Francisco right now because, I'd go down there and videotape it, and one of those dirty murdering pieces of trash put their hands on me. I guarantee you the cops would probably get me down on the ground, take their gun out, and they'd probably taser me till I died. And the news would say I deserved it. This country's gone. It's run by nothing but filth. Let me tell you, all the cops and all of you that serve, they're going to take your pension funds. You're going to die of Alzheimer's from all the shots they've shot you up with. They hate you, so you go ahead and serve the evil. You go ahead and serve them, you pieces of filth. Look, you guys go ahead and talk. I'm going to take a break. I'm serious. You got the next 5 minutes. You just talk about whatever you want.
Well, we've talked about precedents for, globalization and exchange of policing and troop deployment between countries. They used the 2006 Soccer World Cup in Germany to ship German police over to, and these were uniformed police, to patrol British streets and go and bust British citizens who were potential troublemakers planning on travelling to the Soccer World Cup in Germany. So you had German police in Britain carrying out operations against British citizens, and Germany's interior minister changed their country's constitution before the World Cup to allow internal troop deployments for, quote, security reasons. So that's another example where they use one of these global sporting events to ram through some of this conditioning to accept foreign troops and changing their own constitution and things like that.
Well, also, as well, you've got, in 4 years' time, you've got the Olympics in London. And it's been debated by the government. It's come out that the government is considering shipping in FBI agents and Israeli police security services to police the Olympics in London because, as they say, the prime targets are US and Israeli athletes for any would-be terrorists. So they're actually considering bringing in Israeli troops to police the streets of London. And, of course, the excuse for that is the Olympic Games. So there's another example.
Well, also, guys, remember how during the World Cup they'd have British troops and police in Germany, and then in England they'd have the Germans, and then in Italy they'd have Germans. I mean, we're all being trained. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, that's what I was talking about, and it's always just a big surveillance and police state showcase. I mean, it's like going at Super Bowl every year. They talk about, they're scanning the crowd to pick out criminals and stuff. It's just a big showcase. In Beijing, they're bugging people's hotel rooms and stuff that visit. They've got surveillance cameras and systems that can record conversations on the street. So it's always a big beta test for the nice little tracking and control programs that they want to unfurl nationwide. I mean, they use every single sporting event for that purpose.
And to train the public to live in a grid with a bunch of criminals running it and sucking off everybody. And it hurts every one of those dumb cops that's part of this is being sucked on just as much as us.
Yeah, you've got the U.S. State Department earlier this year issued warnings about how anybody travelling to Beijing for the Olympics should expect their hotels to be bugged, should expect everywhere they go to be tracked by the police, because that's just the way they do it in China.
Which is the way they do it in America as well, but nobody noticed the pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah.
Well, both sides point at each other when they're all under UN agreements running the exact same operation. It's all international standards. China is a darling because they signed the agreements with the eugenicists in 1975 to black op their population, to poison them, to sterilize them, to kill their babies. And that's why they are the darling. They are the God force. They are the imperial army of death that will serve the bankers. You want to see your new God? It is a Chinese soldier. And I'm not kidding. Go ahead.